Hello everyone, welcome to this video. Welcome to my channel. My name is Brenda Campbell. I'm an artist and a certified Zentangle teacher, and today is Mindful Monday. Yes, whether you're watching on Monday or not, this video is intended to help bring some mindfulness into your world. So I guide you through the 8 steps of the Zentangle Method of drawing. It is a tool, a practice, if you will, that I use to bring mindfulness into my world. It also brings me some calm, a little bit of zen. It helps me become more creative. The list is very long, but there are so many benefits to a Zentangle practice, and today's video is going to show you all 8 steps. I hope you draw along with me. You don't need much. Just paper and pencil or pen is probably all you need to just get started and decide for yourself if it's something that you think would benefit your world. So step 1 is gratitude and appreciation. And in this step, I am just going to talk you through a very short breathing exercise that hopefully will help you settle into this moment and get prepared to draw. So let's go ahead and begin with a few deep breaths. Breathing in fully and out completely. Inhale again, getting tall as you breathe in, and exhaling, and just release all of that tension. One more big breath in and out. Now I want you to just let your breath fall into its natural rhythm. Breathing in and breathing out. And just follow it. Don't try to guide it. And continue to relax. When you feel settled, I want you to think of something that you are grateful for right now in this moment. And when you have it, feel into it and try to pay attention to what it feels like to be grateful. What does gratitude feel like? And when you have that feeling, hold on to it and bring it into our practice today. And if you start rushing or you need a moment, just stop and take a breath. Feel that gratitude again, and then you're ready to go back. And I know I feel better. I hope you do as well. That is all we are going to do for step 1. Now, step 2, we're going to use our pencil. Any pencil will do. I'm drawing on a 3.5 inch Zentangle tile, but you could draw on a small piece of paper or even drawing a small square on a regular piece of paper. So use what you have. Step 2 is to put a dot in each of the 4 corners of our tile. Step 3 is to connect those dots to create a border. Now step 4 is a string. And our string today is going to be kind of a band across, diagonally across our tile. And you can choose how wide you want the band or how narrow you want the band, whether it's curvy or straight. And I'm just going to kind of make a curvy line. And then I'm going to kind of make another one. So mine's kind of curvy and, I don't know, not terribly wide, but not too narrow either. And that is it for our string. So I'm going to put my pencil away for now. I'm going to pick up my pen. Today I'll be using a Micron PN pen for plastic nib. That way my heavy hand, because I have heavy pressure when I draw, it's a little better for me because it's plastic nib. A plastic nib will not bend so easily, so my pens last longer when I use my PN. We are going to use 2 tangles today, and that is all we're going to use. The first one is going to be a grid tangle called Tortuga, and I'm going to draw that grid in my center space. Now, because I want my center space to have some dimension, I'm not going to use straight lines for my grid. I'm going to use dimensional curvy lines that kind of go along with my curves of my shape. So I'm going to go ahead and start down here in what I think is like the center, and I'm going to draw a line in the center of my curvy shape. I'm going to kind of go over this because I had it get too thin, but I'm not going to futz with it too much. In fact, I'm just going to leave it alone. Now I'm going to draw a line on either side of it for my, and this is for my grid, the beginning of my grid. And I'm going to stop there for now because this section is more narrow and my grid aura would be stopped and run behind, if you will. So now I'm going to flip it around and I'm going to do the same thing again, only I flipped it around. I shouldn't have done that. I want to be able to see this line as I aura it for my grid. So I am going to do that and be done with that as well. Now I am going to come back and I'm going to make the grid lines going the opposite direction for my grid. And I want it, like I said, to be dimensional. So I'm going to curve them. And I'm going to start down here where I don't have any of these outside lines because my space got narrower. Then I'm going to flip it around and come back. I'm trying to keep all my squares about the same size. But it really doesn't matter. There are no mistakes. Okay, so I have my grid lines. There are some curvy lines. I don't have a line on the outside, and that's on purpose. So right now, we're going to do the next step in our tangle Tortuga, and that is to draw a spiral inside each one of our grid shapes, grid squares. So you can start in any of them. We're just going to fill them all in. And I'm going to take mine to the corner. And again, filling in. Now, the center on this square space would be over closer to the side. And so we're going to draw this one as if that pencil line is the edge and it goes behind after that. So you see, this is not a complete spiral because it stops at my pencil line. And over here, I have a very small space. I'm going to just do that and be done with it. In fact, why don't I do that on all of these that are partial. I have two more over here. Okay, so it's like a printemps spiral, and we're just doing a partial one because it kind of rolls behind. Now I can go ahead and fill in the rest of them because they're all a little bit larger. It doesn't matter what direction your spiral goes. I've never been terribly concerned about that level of perfection. Some of my spirals have more lines spiraling around than others, but there are no mistakes, and again, I'm not that concerned. Now I'm reaching into the area where, again, it rolls behind, so I'm going to keep that in mind as I draw. And just kind of ask yourself, where would that spiral start in these smaller, not complete squares? If you want, you can go back, and if there are some corners that need an extra line, you can add one. But I think I got most of them as I was going along, so I'm good with that. Now, the next tangle that we're going to draw is going to be coming from the bottom line on one side and then the opposite side. So I'm going to start here. I've got a little bit more space here. So I'm going to go ahead and start my next tangle. That tangle is rain. Now rain starts with some straight lines. It's kind of a viney pattern. It starts like it's growing from this line down here. So I'm going to do another line. These lines can be straight or they can be, let's see, do one more curvy. So there is my beginning lines. The next step for rain is to draw a zigzag line with the original line in the center. Okay, now I stopped that because I don't want it to go over here yet. So I'm going to draw this. I'll draw this one next. So now I can see that this will go and stop because it's behind. There. Okay, so let me do this one next. And I'll do this one. And this one. Now I purposely did these so they did not go behind, so we'll see how this works out. Because the next thing we're going to do is fill these in, all of these triangles, with solid black ink. And you can start anywhere and just go ahead and fill it in. If you have, if you started with a finer tip, an 01 micron, perhaps you might want to find a fatter nib pen if you have that available to you. The PN that I'm using is pretty good for filling in, so I'm going to just keep mine in hand, but feel free. Feel free to do what makes you happy. But because this is going to take a quick minute, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, finish mine. If you're drawing along, please do the same. Pause the video, take your time, fill in your black spaces. This can be very zen, very relaxing, just filling in the space. So if you're drawing along, pause now. And when you are done, come back and start the video again, and we will be ready for the next step in this tangle rain. I'm back, and I have finished filling in all of the black, solid black for this rain tangle on this side. I'm going to go ahead and do the next step, which is to aura each one of these rain shapes. So I'm going to start here, and this is where you'll probably run into some overlapping and having to do some drawing behind, but it's all good. And you notice I'm moving my tile and turning it as I draw these auras, because that always helps me to keep them more consistent. And I'm trying to keep the line that I'm auraing to my left because I'm right-handed. And that way I can see it. So I'll keep turning my tile for that purpose. Okay, and here is my first place I have to draw behind. And that's okay. I think these are closer together, so these will all probably overlap some on this end. That's okay. As you can see, rain is a drama tangle with all of this solid black. And I do love my drama in contrast. So this is a good tangle to add if you're looking to add that to your piece, your tile, your art. This one here is going over my border line in pencil, but remember, they're just suggestions, so it's all good. Okay, I'm done with rain on this side, and I'm going to flip it around, and I'm going to put a couple over here, but not too many. You can see I have this big section there, so I'll do that one, and then I'll do another one here. So let's start with those. Remember, we'll do our zigzag. Now I'm going to come down here. And maybe this needs one more, so I'll do one more short one here. Okay, now I'm going to fill them in. Again, if you're drawing along, fill yours in. I'm going to pause the video one more time and fill mine in. And then when I get back, we'll finish our pattern, our tangle rain. I am back again, and now we are going to put the auras around these rain tangles on this side. I'm going to start with the one in the middle. That way it will kind of stand out, if you will, when we start drawing behind. So this one kind of goes behind right there. Just noticed I forgot to close that, but I'll go back here and get it in a second. There. Now we are done with step 5. That was drawing tangles. I'm going to put my pen away for the moment and pick my pencil back up. And we are going to start by shading our center section with our Tortuga pattern. I'm going to begin by just doing the perimeter, but I'm doing it on the inside, so I'm doing the shading over the tangle, not behind the tangle. And I'm just going to go around, keep turning my tile as I do. And I'm using my pencil line that I drew in my string. There. Now, this is a kind of heavy graphite. And I do have a heavy hand with my graphite, so typically I am not trying to add this much. But I'm trying to get a specific effect on this center section. Now I have my tortillon, and I'm going to start blending this graphite into the center, towards the center anyway, of this tile, or this tangle. So I'm blending it away from the edge. The small circular motions. And I just kind of blend it with my tortillon and then pull it down a little bit. And I'm rolling my tortillon in my between my fingers as I go. Every so often I'll roll it just to kind of keep the graphite spreading evenly on my tortillon. The other thing about using a tortillon to blend your graphite is you want to use the side of the tip, and the point or the tip is going to be right next to the line you're pulling the graphite away from. Okay, so I've got my perimeter done, and you can kind of see that a little bit of dimension where it looks a little rounder on the edges. I'm going to go back in with my pencil now, and I'm going to add just a little bit more to this very edge. I'll do the same on the bottom. Okay, back to my tortillon. Now this, I'm just blending a little bit closer to the edge. I'm not pulling it away from the edge quite as far, so it's keeping the edge a little bit darker again. And again, that just aids that illusion, tricking our eyes into thinking that this is a three-dimensional shape on a paper, and it's kind of curved on the sides. Okay, so that's all we need to do with our tortuga. You could go in and put graphite on the grid lines if you wanted, but honestly, I think that would make it too dark. So now I'm going to shade our rain, and I'm going to start by giving it kind of a foundation on both sides. So I'm reinforcing that pencil line just underneath where I have my lines starting, my leaves or vines starting, coming up from the bottom. Okay, I have a fair amount of graphite still left on my tortillon, and I want to put a little bit of graphite everywhere we go behind in our rain aura. So this one goes behind there, and I'm just using graphite that I have left on my tortillon because I don't want it to get too dark. So right now I've still got enough to add a little bit, and we're adding, obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, but we're adding graphite to the shape that is actually behind. The shape on the top does not get the graphite. Let's go over here. We've got a few more over here. And if I think I don't have enough graphite on my tortillon, then I can go back over one of my heavier shaded areas, kind of roll it around and pick up a little bit more graphite. This area here's a little strange, because this one goes behind, but there's an aura that is behind this one. So it's a little, I don't know, Escher-ish, I'll say. MC Escher is a master at illusion, optical illusions. So I think I have, oops, here's one more I missed. I was looking for everywhere it went behind, and here's one more section there. Okay, so that's not a whole lot of graphite on the rain, but you know what? We don't really need a whole lot more graphite on the rain. So we're done. We are done with step 5 now, which was our tangles, drawing our tangles. Step 6 we just completed, which was shading our tangles. Step 7 is next, and step 7 is simply to add our initials or our chop on the front of our tile, and then we're going to sign it on the back. So I'm going to put my chop right here, I think. And it'll probably tuck up underneath this shape in the center, but that's okay. And my chop is kind of a stylized B. See, and then I add a couple of black circles sometimes. I don't always do it. These are called little perfs, P-E-R-F, perfs in the Zentangle world. And I'm done with my chop. I'm going to flip my tile over and I'm going to sign it. I will date it off camera, but I like to list the tangles we used and any other notes that you want to make on the back. I might just make a note that this is for my Mindful Monday number 42, and that will help me remember. Step 8 is our last step, and that is simply to sit back and appreciate what you've done. Gratitude again. So take a look at your piece, your little patterns on your tile or your paper, and tell yourself, look what I did. You can be grateful for taking a moment for yourself today and enjoying this mindful Monday moment, whether it's Monday or Tuesday, or you get the idea. So that is all I have for you today. I want to thank you so very much for watching, especially if you are still here hanging out with me. I want to ask that if you know someone else you think might enjoy this video, please feel free to share it with them. And you know the drill, like it, subscribe it if you want to see more. And I want to remind you, as always, till next time, be you and be happy.